African American, because you seem to know a lot more than these gentlemen about being black.
Black Lives Matter is funded by the White House, ma'am. By Obama, George Soros.
What about the people who are marching for black?
All lives matter. Number one, all lives matter, okay? God made us all. God made us all lives matter. So if you want to separate yourself and put yourself on a platform about black lives, but what about that yellow man? What about that orange person? What about that purple person? What about them?
My man said, man, what about that that white person, that yellow person, that orange person, that purple person? The purple person, I wish they would have showed the purple person, man, because that's that brother must be dark black. You know, when you're so dark, you look purple. I think I have a couple of thumbnails up here where I had the lights dimmed just a little bit too much, and I think I look purple. But this dude is repping for everybody, so hey, I ain't mad at you, bro. I ain't mad at you at all, man. Keep doing your thing.
The claim of the Black Lives Matter is that African Americans are sort of kind of targeted. They get more killed.
We want them to matter.
Hold on a second. Black, this is what happens in black neighborhoods. It's black on black. It's black on black what kills these young youths in their neighborhoods. The Democratic Party has owned the black neighborhoods for over 60, 70 years. Look at them. And they give you a black president who's a Muslim. He supports radical Islam. From the White House, they the ones who created ISIS. Look at their...
Okay. When I check out these videos, and this is important to me, when I check out these videos, I'm checking them out not so that the right is right or the left is right. At the end of the day, I want truth. I want truth. So anybody that's out there that's saying anything that's not true, dude, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I want you to say things that are absolutely the truth. What you said about Black Lives Matter and everybody mattering, the black and the orange and the yellow and the white and everybody matter. Yeah, I'm with that 1000% because we are all God's children. Can we say that? We're all God's children. All right. Now you have the opportunity to school these people. Clearly you're in a position where everybody want to interview you. I don't know why everybody's interviewing you and got their phones and everything on you, but if you're in this position, then you need to handle it responsibly. All right.
Policies. Look at their policies.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Why is it that every black person I know, every black parent I know, who I live in a neighborhood with, has to give their children a special instruction for what they should do and not do when they go out, so that they don't get stopped by the police?
Right, that's what they should teach them. That's what they're teaching them. But they're not teaching them that. But they're not teaching them that. Let me explain something. The families, you know why?
Yes, they are.
Because a lot of black, but
does
listen.
that.
Let me tell you, rap music is designed to bring the black neighborhood down. Let me explain something. If you're walking down the street with your pants hanging down and you're listening to rap, and the rap is giving people the images, sell drugs, be a drug dealer, calling people in the rap industry contributes to how blacks treat each other.
But what about, let me finish. What about the black men?
Hold on, I need to touch that. It's okay. It's some truth to that because that's culture. I really have no nice way of explaining hip hop music, all right? And how it negatively affect or positively affect the youth in urban communities. But I will say that I'm a huge fan of rap. I'm a huge fan of hip hop. So are my children. But all of my children and all of their friends love hip hop because that's their culture. That's their music that they relate to the most. Yes, ignorant as hell. Shoot him in his face, bust him in his mouth, steal his car, grab his mother, take her out. Like I know I'm not on bar. I'm not rapping well or anything like that. But I will say this: the parents have a responsibility regardless on how to raise their children. Now, you're saying that hip hop is designed to ruin the community. Where do you get that, sir? Because hip hop was created to stop crime. I don't know if you know that. And a lot of people, a lot of hip hop, if people don't know this, a lot of hip hop is created just so people can be able to get their anger and frustration out over a beat, using black culture while doing so. Using black culture while doing so. Now, does it negatively affect people? Yeah, because when you hear certain things over and over and over again, you take them to be true. You don't take it as art anymore. When you see certain images on TV, you think that you have to emulate those images. And anybody who see those images and don't have anybody in a positive adult in their life that can help them on the right path, yeah, they're gonna be led astray. But that's for every single community have their music that they're not so proud of. And some people have their music that they are proud of. But at the end of the day, answer the lady's question. The lady didn't ask you about hip hop. The lady didn't ask you about hip hop, bro. And just so for anybody that's watching this video, I want y'all to understand, this is me. This is me. I'm not radical right, radical left, radical middle. I'm not radical any of those things. I'm radical family and God. That's it. That's it. Period. That's all I'm about. Whenever I hear somebody talking about a thing that they clearly don't understand, I'm going to speak up, especially if I have some knowledge on it. But things I don't have knowledge on, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to listen. I'm going to learn. I'm going to take mental notes and I'm going to respond accordingly when it's time for me to respond. I'm going to ask questions if I have questions, and I'm going to have statements if I have statements, something that's productive and adds to whatever I'm checking out. But whenever I hear someone going on and they're saying things that's not true, I got to check them. And again, if you guys have something for me to take away from this, and you have some truths for me to add to my bag, then feel free, feed them to me. I would love to take them. All right. That's just how I am, guys. Hopefully y'all understand. All right, let's go.
Blacks treat each other.
But what about, let me finish. What about the black men who are dressed nicely,
yes,
driving in nice cars,
yes,
and are treated like criminals as if they stole the cars?
Listen.
That has nothing to do with rap music.
Right. But
that has to do with
right,
to do with their lives not mattering as much as other people's lives.
Do you don't think white people get pulled over?
Not as much.
Right, maybe. Yeah, you're right. You might have a point there. But
I do
still,
have a point.
Most crime is black on black. It's not cops killing.
We're not talking about
it's not cops killing black.
We're not talking about black on black crime.
Right.
We're talking
then you can't talk about Black Lives Matter till you talk about that.
Right.
My man.
You got it.
We're talking about black people not being as safe when they go out, when they're treated by the police, and more.
It's time for the black neighborhoods to start taking care of their own neighborhoods.
One of the problems with the black community is how we're perceived. So look, when we're talking about rap, when you compare it to the statistics, how 40% of violent crimes are committed by young black men. Hold on. It's a perception. It is a perception. When we talk about, you go on the internet and we talk about selling drugs, pimping women, armed trafficking, fraud, and all these things, and people who don't live in black neighborhoods, people who don't live in black neighborhoods, gentry neighborhoods, all they see is what they know online.
The White House is
and it is a perception. And when we hear police officers, 40% of the police officers who were killed in the line of duty were killed by young black men. It is only reasonable sometimes, not saying this is bad. Sometimes it is reasonable for a police officer to handle black men with a little bit more caution than it is for a 5'2" Chinese man, for instance. Because statistically they're not committing violent crimes. Statistically, they're not killing cops. Now, for instance,
I will say this. I like the way that this gentleman presents himself. I like the way he presents his arguments. I like the way that he seemed to be extremely intelligent, and he seemed to be considerate of his audience. He seemed to be considering everything. He seemed to be listening, and he seemed to have an understanding of both sides. And what he says makes absolute truth. If all the nation here from a certain genre of music is anger, 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 frustration, frustration, disrespect, disrespect. And the police actually have to work in these areas, and they're getting confirmation that, hey, some of this stuff is not only music, it's actually real life. I face these dangers on a day-to-day basis, so I get it when somebody approach certain people with caution in certain areas. You know what? I can't say anything about that, bro. You're absolutely true. I mean, you're absolutely correct. So everything that he said so far, I have no issues with. All right, let's go.
Okay, so if a police officer pull over an Arab in Manhattan, right? No, let me just put one. Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Most of the mass shootings in this country, when was the last one that was done by a black person?
The Dallas sniper.
I'm talking I'm talking about mass shootings of innocent people. I'm talking about the police.
All right, white lady, liberal lady, I will say this. You need to have some responsibility in this conversation. If they're not responding to you in kind and they're not answering your questions, please make sure that you lead by example and you answer their questions. Or you respond to something that he said. You're not responding to anything that he just now said. He just now said a whole lot, and you're pointing out other. So, okay, the issue here in this video right now, and I will say this, hopefully you all don't feel bad about this. If you do, that's cool too. It seems like everybody's listening to respond and not listening to understand. So this is the only thing that's wrong with street debates, because people don't understand how a conversation is supposed to go. But the other gentleman, the second gentleman that started to communicate, I like the way he presents himself. And I want to see if he responds directly to what she's saying, or he responds with the opposite view, because then that will show me that this right here is just them trying to volley for position and see who wins at this game of mental chess. And that's something that none of us should really have any time for, because it's not productive at all. I'm
not saying that was a good thing. So if we have all these mass shootings of people with guns killing children and killing innocent people, why aren't we more suspicious of white folks carrying around guns?
Well, they are. I mean, white people. White people. The thing is, when we're talking about black crime and white crime, we're talking about proportionality, right? No. So here's the thing. Right? So I think it was about 5,000 or 3,000. 5,000. Are you talking about police killings or just white on white violence?
I'm not talking about race. I'm talking about people responsible for mass shootings.
Okay, young lady, he's telling you that he pretty much already told you that a great majority of the crime and the killings and violent crimes was happening from people in urban communities. You need to respond to that, because you're trying to jump on that whole mass shooting thing, and the mass shootings is nowhere near as bad as what's happening in the black community right now. Like in DC alone, in Washington, DC alone, up till today, there's been, I believe, 99, and that was last recorded, and I'm sure it's higher than that right now, 98 homicides. 98 homicides as of today. And this is June 21st, 2020. Just so y'all can date this video if you're looking at this at a later time. So we're at the middle of the year. There's already been 98 homicides, okay, in Washington, D.C. alone. You can't tell me 1, 2, or 3 mass shootings where it equaled that much. So focus on the bigger issue. Now, right now, the bigger issue is these urban communities doing the BS that they're doing. And the organization called Black Lives Matter trying to use these killings and use these black people as a way to get more money to fund their own pockets, because they're really not helping the community with that money that they give. because all the people that funded, well, white people are funding it from all over the world, but black people are funding them as well. Black people are sending their support. Black people are fighting for them. Black people are arguing about them. Black people are getting in fights with people about anybody that says all lives matter. A fight will pop off real quick in the urban community. I'm telling you that right now. If you go to an urban community right now and you say, and you're around a bunch of black people in that community and you say all lives matter, that's like calling somebody's mom a female dog. So that's an issue right now, when that organization don't care about them people who are willing to fight and put their lives on the line for them. Whereas they started out as a cause that seemed to be noble at first, because there has been some crooked, dumbass cops that did some crooked, dumb stuff to some black people. But by far not enough for Black Lives Matter to be going around saying, oh, say their name, remember this name. Well, they're not remembering that. They're remembering the 6 or 7 people who have died by the hands of cops, but they haven't remembered the other 400 people in the course of the year in all of the major inner cities who have been dying by the hands of their own race. So that's what this gentleman is trying to tell you right now. So when he said proportionality, you need to understand that that's where he's coming from. So say, yeah, I get that. I understand that. You make a valid point, and then move on to your next point. Again, I really enjoy listening to regular people have these discussions, but there is always one side that goes way outside of their lane, way outside of their lane. So again, I will repeat, and I'm gonna get back to this video. I'm not gonna keep on stopping, but this second gentleman is a good representation of what I am becoming to understand more and appreciate more, and it's actually a different way of thinking from what I was thinking before I started down this journey. All right, so all right, let's go back to this.
I'm not talking about race. I'm talking about people responsible for mass shootings in this country, which have all been.
You are talking about race, lady. You started out talking about Black Lives Matter. That's race. That's clearly race. That's nothing but race, actually.
Ask you a question. How many mass shootings occur as opposed to just killings on the streets of our cities? And what would you say the ratio of, say, a mass shooting to shooting in a neighborhood?
Okay, well, I can't argue with you
want to ban the gun?
You're saying you're wanting to focus on these mass shootings and they're not being committed by black people, but you want to ignore everything, all of that.
I just want.
As if it's.
That's true. You made a good point, bro. Cuz made a good point. My man made a good point.
It's more important.
I just want a black person walking down the street to be treated the same way as a white person walking down the street.
They are, though. They are. They really are. At the end of the day, though, man, there are some injustices. We already know that, and we already know that a bunch of these people who have positions of power want to hold on to their power, and they're not acting responsibly with their power. So yeah, there's a fight still to be had. But young lady, there's a bigger issue that they're trying to get you to focus on right now. You're fighting a good fight, I get it. But you need to focus on the bigger issue, because by you constantly focusing on that one thing, you're not helping. You're so stuck on this one issue that you're allowing, you don't care. It's almost like you don't even care. See, that's the problem right there, man. And I'm going to shut up, I promise. She's so focused on that one issue that it's almost coming off like she don't care about the rest of the stuff. She don't care. Let me tell you something, young white lady, liberal lady. I feel more safe walking through a white community by myself and never have been to that white community than I do walking through a random inner city neighborhood. That's just me. And I'm from the inner city. And I used to love doing ignorant stuff. I used to love it. It used to be fun. I used to expect for it to happen. And then when it did happen, I wanted to be in the mix of it. But guess what? When we had the Mochella event in Washington, D.C. this weekend, see, because me and my family, we went to the Something in the Water festival. It was 3 days with a whole bunch of artists. A great deal of them were hip hop artists. And this goes to the other guy that was speaking. A great deal of the artists that were there were hip hop artists. Pharrell Williams brought everybody out there. And that thing went 3 days in the middle of Washington, D.C. It was stone packed, and there wasn't a fight. There wasn't an arrest, none of that. It was alcohol on the premises. They was talking about the same thing. Kill them, they hating. I said, kill them, they hating. I got on jewelry. They was talking about all that other stuff. I got on ice and they was talking about all that stuff. Stuff that you would say, the first black dude that was talking, stuff that he would say will rile people up and get them to want to commit some crime. It doesn't work that way. But then we had something called Mochella. Mochella was another event that happened on Juneteenth in the middle of DC as well, in Uptown DC, 14th and U Street. I'm from DC. I used to love going to go-go's. This was nothing but go-go bands, nothing but black people, but it was in a white neighborhood, gentrified neighborhood that used to be an all-black neighborhood. Follow me here. So this one day, go-go bands playing. It's called Mochella. It was put together for a good cause, but guess what happened? 4 people ended up being shot. One person ended up being killed. And one of the people that got shot was a police officer. And it wasn't no white people there. Well, it was probably a sprinkle of white people there. All right. So I need for people to have some context with their arguments, because it's so much that people are out here jawing. They're talking and just debating, and they're getting their information from the media. They're not getting it from the actual people that's out there in the streets that's going through it. Now, this white lady is there because she thinks she has somewhat of a black past because her black neighbors in their suburban neighborhood tell her stories about how they need to sit down and talk to their children about when they get pulled over by the police. I have the same conversations with my children as well. But guess what? I raise my kids a certain type of way, and I expect for them to act a certain type of way if they were to be pulled over by the police. And I hope and I pray that they get back home to me every single day, unscathed, and by the police, by other people. I don't care who bring danger their way. I want them to be okay, period. And guess what? The likelihood of someone that look like them versus someone that's dressed in blue causing harm to them, I don't even want to say who it is. All right, so see, you don't know as much as you think you know.
African American, because you seem to know a lot more than these gentlemen about being black.
That's what I was just now saying, lady. That's what I was just.
I live in a community with black and African American friends.
You have black friends? I do too.
But are you going to say that black people can walk down the street and say?
Absolutely. Depending on where you live.
It depends on where you live. It depends on where you live.
It just depends.
Right.
So you're going to tell me that women don't hold their purses closer, or you don't lock your door when you're going through a black neighborhood? Do you do that when you're driving through a white neighborhood?
Have you seen how I've been carrying my purse out here with 1,000 people I don't know? I'm not as any more concerned around all these people I don't know of all these nationalities than I am anywhere else.
But the thing is,
Lady, I've been walking around and people have been telling me I don't know what I've been talking about all day.
But the point is this: most crime is black on black. It's black on black.
About black on black.
All right.
It is a huge problem.
It's not the cops.
If we could reduce the main point is if we could reduce the amount of black on black crime and violent crime committed by blacks, it will reduce the perception of a threat when it comes down to how people are perceived. Black people are perceived in America.
I like this guy.
I only think that Mr. Trump cares about you.
He's hired more black people than probably you have. More Latinos, more Muslims than anybody else has.
That lady has a huge problem with Trump. She don't have an issue with what's happening in the black community. That makes you disingenuous, and that make me not trust you.
He insults them all the time.
Insults black people or Muslims, women?
Women. He's just he insults anybody who doesn't agree with him.
What about all the money?
Obama's killed more Muslims than Donald Trump has. Just
We can't have a rational conversation. You know what?
Obama has killed more Muslims than Donald Trump has.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He actually he actually did. He actually did. And I honestly don't know why this lady is getting upset. She's the one. She don't understand that she's not communicating properly in this right here.
Extrajudicially, he has killed more Muslims.
You guys argue that he should be more aggressive.
I didn't argue that.
Killed Osama bin Laden.
Well,
You got no credit for that. That was a good thing.
he did. He got the Nobel Peace Prize. That was his credit. And then he ended up going to destroy Syria. And now
He destroyed Syria?
Oh yeah, yes, him.
Oh, how did
yes.
he destroy Syria?
The limited airstrikes that Vladimir Putin told him not to do. China said, hey, you know.
So you like
and
Putin?
I don't. Well, there are things that I do like about Putin. He doesn't like to go and invade countries and destabilize them. One of the things I like about Putin is the fact that he understands that the Western presidents historically, at least from Bush.
Didn't Putin just now invade Ukraine? Hey, I said earlier in the video, if I don't know much about it, I'm gonna be quiet. But just asking the question, didn't he? No, I think he did. Unless I'm off. Okay, never mind.
From Clinton all the way to Bush, we have been toppling a lot of dictators that are democratically elected. The mullahs, the Muslim Brotherhood that was put into power after the military coup. That was another one that Vladimir Putin warned against, and we did it anyways. And then now this whole invade and invite Syria.
Because I don't want to listen to this anymore. But I'm
Okay,
just
well,
going to say, let me just tell you, I will be really glad when you guys are all done and you leave. And Ohio can go ahead and vote against Trump because he's going to lose here. And nobody wins the presidency without winning Ohio.
What didn't Trump win Ohio? I believe he won Ohio. That didn't age well at all. Okay.
He will lose here.
All right.
Take it easy. Say hi. Hug a black guy for me. Hug a black guy for me.
You want a hug?
Sure, of course.
I'll give you a hug.
There you go.
What did
You take hug?
what was the point of that comment?
I just said hug a black guy
But
for
why?
me.
What were you trying to
Because
communicate?
it seems like you have this warped perception on how black people are treated.
I know what I hear from people I know who are black.
And I'll tell you
I live in a
one of
neighborhood
the
that's
most.
70% black, and this is what I hear from my friends.
I did too.
What do your friends say?
Okay, so I lived in Eastside San Jose, which is predominantly black and Mexican. And one of the worst things that happened in Eastside San Jose were the police officers, if you know Mayor Licata, the police officers stopped patrolling the neighborhood in which I lived in.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question. I asked you specifically what you were implying when you asked me to go hug a black friend. You didn't answer.
What he was implying is that you have this Captain Save-'em type of mentality, and you're only hearing what you want to hear because you feel like it's your duty to believe every single thing that's allegedly being said to you in the community that's 70% black. Because when you go around there, everybody's just pulling you to say, hey, white lady, let me tell you something about us. Hey, white lady, let me tell you something about us. Hey, white lady, come here, let me tell you something about us. Hey, white lady, come here, let me tell you something about us. So she has all of the information about the black people because they keep on pulling her to the side and just saying, hey, I just keep on hearing from everybody. Everybody just come to me, tell me about all the black problems. They just got all the black problems, and I got to listen to them, and now I got to take up for them. And I'm going to tell a black dude, you don't understand blacks. Yeah, what he was saying was, stop being Captain Save-'em and try to understand what I'm saying. I am a black dude that's talking to you right now from an educated standpoint, and you don't want to hear it because I have on a Trump shirt. And that's ridiculous. So yeah, when you get around your neighborhood full of black people, do me a favor, hug a black man for me. Yeah, keep on showing love, sister. Fight the power.
Because
were you implying I don't understand?
It seems like your compassion could be translated in a different way other than speaking about black problems, which you probably have no idea.
Well, I know what I'm told by
She
people
has
I
no
know.
idea.
So you may represent I don't represent all white people, all Jewish people. You don't represent all black people.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you what I hear from the black community in my neighborhood, and it's very different than yours. I don't pretend to speak for the black community, but I don't agree with what you're saying, and it's not what I'm hearing from people I know. So you can have your opinion, but your comment to me to go hug a black person seemed kind of snide and belittled.
It was. It was supposed to be.
On my behalf. You enjoy your day.
Good job, man. Good job.
I'm just gonna say this. I enjoyed that video. Hopefully, I didn't offend anyone. 9 times out of 10, if I did, the people that I offended are not here anymore. They probably cut off the video a long time ago, which is cool. But guess what's not gonna always happen on the LFR Family channel? I'm not gonna be 100% agreeable if I hear something that sounds idiotic. And I heard a couple of things from both sides in this conversation, not from the second gentleman, but definitely from the first guy. He was just all over the place. He had this, I gotta speak loud and proud and just completely dismiss what she's saying, and she's going to completely dismiss what I'm saying, and we're going to keep on dismissing. But then the second guy came out and he was talking, he was communicating, and that's what I like to listen to. It came from a real place. He even called her back to talk again. Yeah, it was from a snide comment, but he called her back to talk again. That's how we fix things. But anyway, y'all let me know whatever it is y'all want me to know in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I'm Van, and now we are all the LFR family, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, hopefully inside the Patreon as well. You all have been amazing per usual, man. Love y'all.